Most people dream of millions, but few understand the psychological shift required at every milestone. From survival at 0 to isolation at 10 million, here are the 11 levels of wealth you must conquer to truly win the money game. Level 1 starts at $0. $6 in your account, that's not your savings, that's everything. $6 in a paycheck that's already gone before it arrives. 11:47 p.m., you're checking again, you checked an hour ago. You check anyway, the number hasn't moved, it won't move until Friday. Rent took half, phone bill took the rest. Last $40 disappeared into a subscription you forgot to cancel. And somehow this keeps happening. You are not broke because of one bad decision. You are broke because of 100 small ones that didn't feel like decisions at the time. You eat cheap. Rice, eggs, clearance items. You stop buying fruit because it goes bad. And wasting food when you're this low feels like a crime. You know the exact price of everything in your kitchen, not because you're smart with money. Because money doesn't give you the option to be careless. Your friends say, let's go out. You say, maybe next time. You've said maybe next time 11 times. They stopped asking. You didn't notice when they stopped because you were doing math. You're always doing math, standing in line at the gas station doing math, lying in bed doing math, brushing your teeth doing math, not complicated math, survival math. If I don't buy this, I can afford that. If I skip this, I make it to Friday. The bank app is the most opened app on your phone, more than messages, more than anything. You open it, stare at the number, close it, open it again like the number might change if you look hard enough. Notification, overdraft fee, $34. You just lost $34 for being poor. That's the part nobody explains. Being broke costs money. The fee for not having enough is more money taken from what you don't have. You sit on your bed edge and feel something that isn't anger and isn't sadness. Just wait. A low, heavy hum that never fully goes away. You don't talk about money, not because you're private, because there's nothing to say. Everyone around you is doing the same math. Nobody admits it. Everyone pretends Friday isn't the only day that matters. At 0, money isn't a tool. It isn't a goal. It's oxygen. You're either breathing or you're not. And most days, you can't tell which one it is. Then stage 2 lands at $500. You're no longer negative. For the first time in months, the number does not tighten your chest. Yet this sum isn't safety, it's just a pause. One flat tire, one clinic visit, one broken screen, and you return to 0. You know this because you've stood here before. 3 times you touched this amount and lost it 3 times. Now you guard it like the last of something vital. You check your balance every morning. Not panic now, just habit. Panic trained you to check, and now you cannot stop. But something has changed. The overdraft alerts have stopped. That silence from your bank feels like your loudest victory. Buying groceries for the first time in months, you do not calculate the total before the register. You just put things in the cart, normal things, nothing on clearance. Grabbing the name brand cereal. Holding it briefly feels like it means something. It does. Not due to cereal, but what it represents. You can afford to stop calculating even for just one trip. A rule is set, don't drop below $300, it breaks in the second week. Car needed gas, laundry needed quarters. Life took its cut, you rebuild it by month's end. That cycle of losing and rebuilding becomes your first unnamed lesson. Discipline, you're not comfortable, you're not secure, but you're not drowning. After months drowning, floating feels like flying. The first rule, below $1,000 money is air. You're either breathing or you're not. Once you're breathing, you reach level 3, holding $1,000. That is 4 digits. It is a figure never viewed before. You screenshot the balance. You share it with no one, yet keep it on your phone as evidence that a shift occurred. You gaze at it as if it could vanish since you have seen balances rise previously and watched them crash faster. $1,000 feels less like a win and more like a challenge. Will you hold it? Will you keep it? Or will life take it back? You set a rule. Do not drop below $800. You break it in the first month. An unexpected medical bill shows up. Repairs that couldn't wait. You observe the balance fall and your stomach drops alongside it. Yet now a different outcome occurs. You restore it. Not in a week, not easily, but you restore it. Restoring teaches you more than building ever did. You begin tracking where cash goes. No budgets, no sheets, just awareness. You spot $7 here, $12 there. A beverage you didn't need. A shipping charge you could avoid. Small leaks unseen when drowning, because when drowning you don't notice holes. You see them now. Your demeanor shifts slightly, not self-confidence. Not yet the desperation fades. The panic gentles. You see saying maybe next time when friends invite you. You agree one time, simply one time. You sit at the table and order without mental math. For one evening, you feel like someone who ignores money every second of every day. Safety is not yours. Comfort is not yours, but you stand. And after crawling for so long, standing feels like something you can't afford to lose. You reach level 4, hitting the $5,000 mark. Your stance shifts subtly without your knowledge, yet others notice immediately. Fear disappears completely, not replaced by boldness but simply by emptiness. The burden from zero vanishes and leaves nothing behind. That void feels like everything. Daily checks stop, becoming every few days, then less. The app remains, but is no longer the first thing opened each morning. That single change feels like significant progress. You cannot explain this to anyone under $1,000. A surprise bill appears, 400 for car repair, a number that would have ruined you 6 months ago. You pay it, you absorb the cost easily. The balance falls, yet your chest remains loose. Taking a hit without collapsing feels different. That feeling is new. This distinguishes surviving from standing tall. You begin noticing others, people around you who are still stuck at zero. You recognize the signs instantly. Like hesitation before ordering food. You see the phone check under the table. You hear the quick laugh when the bill arrives. You know that math. You used to be that math. You stay silent, but you see it. Seeing this changes how you understand what $5,000 means. It does not mean you are rich. It does not mean you are comfortable. It means you have room to breathe, room to make one mistake without losing it all, room to plan next month instead of surviving this week. You start reading mechanics, not motivation, not inspiration, mechanics, how money actually works, compound interest, index funds, words that used to sound foreign now make sense. You open an investment application. You stare at it for 2 weeks before depositing anything. When you finally move $200, your hand hesitates over the button like signing something permanent. The second rule at 5,000 is money stops being survival and starts being a decision. Decisions are what change everything. Level 5 is $10,000, $5 figures. You've never seen a number like this by your name. You sit with it, not excitement, disbelief, making you refresh the screen twice. You tell no one because nobody understands what this number means. To most people, $10,000 is a used car. To you, it proves every skipped night, brand, and no mattered. The first week, you check it constantly. Not anxiety now, but protection. You watch like something built quietly, noise might break it, something shifts, not about money but time, not surviving this month but what happens if I do this for 5 years. You open a spreadsheet at midnight, the projection isn't exciting, it's just math, but it's the first time math showed you something other than pure fear. You put $11,500 into an index fund. The market dips the next day. Every instinct screams, pull it out, you don't. You let the number sit for a day, then two, then a week. In that silence between reacting and choosing not to, you learn what no book could teach. Patience isn't natural, it's a skill, and it costs something every time you use it. That sum returns $63 in 3 months. It's nothing. It's everything because you did nothing to earn it. It just appeared. That tiny number completely changes how you understand wealth. Third rule, $10,000 is where you stop working for money, and it shows what it can do alone. Now moving into level 6, you reach $25,000. Stability feels real in your life for the first time. This fits your reality perfectly. Bills are paid, savings increase. The safety net is tangible. All previous advice proves effective. Then one evening you sit with a calculator and spoil it. You forecast income forward. 30 years, same job, same raises, same savings rate. The final figure is acceptable. It suffices, yet staring causes a fracture. Not fear, but letdown. This drifts in like a chill from a hidden draft. Your income has a maximum limit. You never glanced up enough to notice. Each increase is predetermined. HR determined your prime years before employment. You are not ascending. You ride a moving walkway. That walkway terminates. Observe individuals a decade further along. Identical role, desk, travel, better vehicles, larger spaces. Yet the expression in their gaze remains unchanged. They exchanged hours for security. That strategy succeeded. However, it succeeded only once. You do not quit, nevertheless, a change occurs. Nights become dedicated to something different, a secondary undertaking, not a company yet, merely an activity generating $300 monthly. Next comes 500. You share this with no one, each dollar gets reinvested. This isn't about greed but sight. You refuse to build life below that limit. Satisfaction for how far you have come, anxiety for how far you haven't gone. This conflict becomes the motor powering subsequent actions. Rule number 4. Income acts as a limit disguised as a foundation. Once noticed, it remains visible forever. That visibility brings you to level 7, $50,000, half of 6 figures. You feel drawn ahead as if gravity finally supports your movement. That extra venture is no longer just a hobby on the side since it generates $1,700 monthly, occasionally exceeding your main salary. You still report to work and sit at the desk, but trapping is gone since being there is now a choice. This shift alters your entire demeanor as you step into the office building each morning. Your funds perform a task never seen before, creating more money independently. Investments return $2,100 yearly, making you measure time differently. Every hour spent on things that do not grow feels like a leak, not wasted, instead leaked. You become protective over evenings, weekends, and mornings before work begins. These hours were once rest, but now they act as runway. Those surrounding you begin to observe the change, even though you never discuss finances. Something shifted internally and they sense it, though they cannot identify the change and you offer no explanation. Explaining 50,000 to someone at 500 feels like speaking a language they haven't learned. You start saying no. A weekend trip needing a credit card, drinks making you feel guilty tomorrow, a loan to a friend who never paid back the last one. No, no, no. Every refusal demands a social price but secures a financial gain, meaning you now tally the results using a new system. Here is the fifth rule. At this level, you quit spending to appear wealthy. You start saving so appearance matters less. This brings level 8, hitting $100,000, six figures. It is a line many discuss but rarely touch, and the strangest part is how incredibly quiet it feels. No fireworks or celebration, just a number on a screen once impossible now sitting like it always belonged there. Suddenly, the bank treats you very differently. You get calls from advisors you never asked for. Your inbox fills with emails about wealth management. Words like portfolio and diversification get thrown around like you belong. You haven't belonged. 6 months ago, you Googled index funds. They don't know that. They just see the number. People sense it too, not because you tell them. You stopped talking about money entirely, but your carry changed. You don't flinch at bills or check prices before ordering. It's subtle, but people feel it. Reactions split into two, jealousy or dismissal. Neither is useful. You start saying no. A destination wedding that would cost $3,000 you never get back. A group vacation where you would quietly subsidize 3 people. A business idea pitched by a friend over drinks who knows no difference between revenue and profit. No, no, no. Some months you're up $4,000. Some months you're down $3,000. Losses used to keep you up at night. Now it's just weather. You learn to dress for rain without canceling the trip. Your life does not look dramatically different from the outside. Same car, same apartment, same routine, but underneath everything shifted. You're not building on sand anymore. You're building on something that holds weight, and the weight you are to put on it was unimaginable when you had $6. That weight defines level 9, where $500,000 waits. At this point, your cash develops its own character. It flows towards specific opportunities while pushing back against others. One venture paid $22,000 over 8 months. Another dropped $9,000 in value. That loss doesn't make you panic, even though 9 grand matters to you. It certainly does. However, you realize this expense is simply the price of participation. You refuse to retreat. Instead, you adjust your stance. You bring on a professional to handle the funds. Within a year, you fire them knowing you understand your situation best. Then you locate a superior expert. This person costs higher fees but speaks fewer words. Your social circle shifted subtly without your awareness, not loudly but quietly. Your current companions view wealth in a new way. Price tags are no longer their topic. They discuss profits instead. Dialogues have transformed. Words evolved. Those who knew you broke began drifting distant. You didn't force them away. The gap formed naturally. Your mind focuses on holdings, not wages or stash items earning during rest. Your salary still remains relevant, yet it is no longer the lead role. It supports a narrative too large for any single paycheck to hold. Rule 6 states under $500,000 you purchase holdings. Over that mark, your holdings begin purchasing more holdings. Reaching level 10 is $1 million. It is a Tuesday, nothing ceremonial about it. Your app updates. The number appears there, 7 figures. You simply sit quietly with it. You expect it to feel differently. You assume there would be more. Instead, quiet satisfaction arrives. Then quickly a realization strikes. 1 million at 4% yields 40,000 yearly. That is not freedom. It is just a starting point. The milestone everyone chases is a door, not destination. Walking through shows the room on the other side is bigger than you imagined. You stop telling yourself you will feel complete at the next number like at 10,000. You set it at 100,000. You set it at 500,000. The finish line keeps moving and shifting. It is not greed because the game keeps revealing new levels you didn't know existed. Your problems change, they do not disappear. Tax strategy replaces simple budgeting. Asset protection replaces saving. Estate planning replaces emergency funds. The vocabulary of your life rewrites itself. Words you never heard at zero now run your daily decisions. People treat you differently and you cannot tell if they see you or the number now. Old friends act strangely around you. Some ask for money without asking for money. Some disappear without explanation. Some stay, but the ease is gone. The seventh rule, 1 million doesn't change your life. It reveals what your life was actually building toward. And what you find on the other side is never what you thought you were building toward. Here arrives level 11 on the journey. You stand now at the $10 million mark. Price tags cease to matter in your daily view. Bank account balances go completely unseen by you. You actually stopped checking those figures months ago. The total number doesn't shift in ways that matter anymore. It remains there, expanding silently like a living creature that found how to feed itself. Your problems now carry names you'd never heard at $0. Trust structures, estate vehicles, tax jurisdictions. You enter spaces you previously only read about, not because of fame, not because of personal connections, since your wealth and pattern spotting skills help the individuals seated there. This offers a distinct type of invitation, not courtesy but utility. You make a choice that would have kept you awake for weeks 5 years ago, a firm you're invested in restructures. 140 roles disappear from the firm. You examine the stake you possess. Profit margins get better, your holdings increase. You don't feel good about it, you don't feel bad about it, you perceive the separation now. The gap between your choices and their outcomes widens so slowly. You didn't notice until it was already permanent. The isolation isn't loneliness, it's something else. Folks who knew you at $6 cannot access your life anymore, and you cannot access their world either, not because you don't care. The context doesn't translate anymore. You give more than you ever have, not for reputation. Because at this level, giving is one of the few things that still feels real. Rule 9: past 10 million states, wealth stops measuring your value. It starts measuring your reach, and reach changes everything it touches, including you. At this moment, a 22-year-old is standing in a grocery store. Their balance is exactly 214. They run numbers silently. The premium coffee goes back. They pick the store brand. They assume this story concerns money, yet that is incorrect. It tracks the gap between your present and future self. Each morning, the ledger opens. It cares little about who you are. It never asks if you are ready. It accepts anyone showing up consistently, patiently, steady. Funds compound as you grow too. The balance is 214. All paths start there.